Fuck you, Interstellar. You're making me feel things. Fuck. We just got done watching Interstellar, a 2014 film by fucking Christopher Nolan. Oh, literally, it's written by Jonathan Nolan and Christopher Nolan. Fuck these guys for creating one of the best scripts. I don't know where to start with this film. Forgot about the. Can you get one for me?
They're right here.
Oh my god, I forgot. Oh my god.
So we just watched 2014's Interstellar by Christopher Nolan, and today we are drinking Orange Blossom. Let's preface, I have watched Interstellar before, and John has never seen it.
I've never seen it.
So this was so entertaining for me to watch John's reactions throughout this entire film, because, oh my god, this movie is insanely good.
The only spoiler I ever got from this movie was the crying Matthew McConaughey meme. I had no idea the context.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Because that's the only thing that comes out of this movie, and you don't know what it's from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Takes two of my fears, puts them right next to each other, and basically, oh my god. So top 5 fears for me. I think spiders are up there. But number 1 and number 2 are missing time and cryo sleep.
That's all this movie is about.
2 things I don't like. And oh my god. Where to start with? Corn. Corn's the food that they love.
We're not even 10 minutes into this movie, and it's the scene where they're driving through the corn, chasing the thing. You know, they planted all this corn right. John turns to me and goes, fuck.
So we're filming this the day that our first episode released. So you guys might be aware that every movie review, I find 2 fun facts about the movie, and then I hide my own little in there. And one of the things was going to be, hey, they made all this corn, planted it, seeded it, and sold it for profit. Mm-hmm. I guess fucking Ryan already knew that because he turned to me. Oh my god. That pissed me off to start the movie with.
But it comes back.
It comes back.
And you have no... Oh my god.
Oh.
I think I watched this movie when I was about 9 years ago. When I think it was like 12. I think I got this movie in my Easter basket as a DVD.
in your Easter basket?
As a DVD. And I watched this movie, and my mind was blown. It's almost a 3-hour movie, which is insane.
Yeah, it's exactly 10 minutes off.
It's exactly 10 minutes off. But, like... The time flies by not only because it is entertaining, but because you're so drawn into every plot point of the movie where it's like humanity's going out. Oh my god, it's family. Oh my god, it's like human abandonment. It's there's so much going on to like you're drawn in, and I got confused with The Martian, because I have seen this before. I got confused with The Martian because Matt Damon is in this movie.
He's in both, yeah. Like
he's the main guy in The Martian, but he's also, like, I'm like, I don't remember who Dr. Mann is. And then they open it, I'm like, no, so it is Matt Damon.
Yeah.
Who's, like, the low-key villain of this movie. Him and Alfred.
I don't remember Alfred. Dr. Brand.
Dr. Brand, what's his name?
Professor Brand.
No, but like the actor.
Fuck. I think he's
Michael Caine. Michael
Caine, yeah. I mean, he does a great job at portraying, like, oh, you need to be a part of this. You need to. And then, like, oh my god. And then.
To which, like, I'm like, how much was he the villain? Because how much did Matthew McConaughey, Cooper, how much did he affect before he left the 5th dimension? Because he was being Mur's ghost the whole time. how much did he change to get himself to that position before he got sucked out and into the new planet?
Yeah. Like, oh my god, missing time. Oh. Like, and you have to think, like, Matt Damon, when he's in cryo sleep. Big fear for me. I don't like cryo.
Where does that come from? Like, where's the...
I don't know. I think it's just, like, the whole missing time. I think it's, like, a co-op fear, like...
The cryo sleep and missing time?
Yeah, like, you just wake up and it's 90 years later, everyone that you know who didn't do it is dead.
Yeah.
Most likely. And then... So Matt Damon wakes up. I mean, we're already getting into spoilers.
You got to know at this point, we're not even probably 5 minutes in.
Yeah.
This is a spoiler-based podcast. Please listen with caution if you haven't seen these movies.
Like, if you hear us go, oh, a movie, we say this in the first episode, if you hear us say, oh, a movie, like...
We're going to get into it.
Yeah. But this movie, when Matt Damon wakes up, you're automatically like, oh, okay, he's kind of normal. Then all of a sudden, like, his numbers aren't adding up. They start figuring out there's an explosion, and I'm like, what? And then, so his character is the one character that I could have done without. Like, you could have not had that twist, but it makes it interesting.
I think the only reason they add him as a character is so that he destroys their centrifugal ship, so that they have to kind of get sucked into the black hole. Yeah. So that so that Matthew McConaughey can sacrifice himself and get sucked into the black hole as well, so that he can alter the gravity and be Mur's ghost. That's the only reason they kind of add him. Which, like you said, he could just be an asteroid that hits the thing.
Yeah.
And I heard you say that, and I didn't say anything at the time when we were watching it. But I think the only reason they don't do that is because they can then add the humanity of survival to Matt Damon's character, which is kind of the whole basis of this movie, is like humanity's survival.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what, because I think obviously Matt Damon's character got a different plan from Professor Brand, because his was Professor Brand's daughter, and I'm making the clarification now that when we talk about Professor Brand, or Michael Caine's character, it should be Professor Brand.
Yeah.
And then Brand should be...
Anne Hathaway.
Yeah, Anne Hathaway.
Yeah.
This movie is full of cameos. It has a Timothy Chalamet. He's in the
movie as a kid. I had no idea who Timothy Chalamet was, and it's like a jump scare seeing him. And then you got the Hunger Games game runner from...
Yeah.
I don't remember his name. But...
Not Plutarch, because he's the second. He's...
Yeah.
Cinna's the
he's the costume designer.
That's Lenny Kravitz.
Yeah.
Is it something Crane?
It might be something great. He's the guy with the weird beard. Yeah. He like twirls his beard weird.
Yeah, I mean, sick costume design.
Oh yeah.
And he's a very good actor. He's in like American Horror Story and like all of.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's in American Horror Story. I think his first season is Hotel.
I haven't seen that one.
Hotel's
I've seen the first 3.
So it goes Freak Show and then Hotel.
Okay.
So you would have missed him by 2 seasons.
Yeah.
But he's in season Hotel, Roanoke, and I think those are the only 2 that he's in. Yeah. But he's really good in those.
He is really good. He's a great actor.
Yeah, like you kind of get that. Like he's only in this movie for so long.
He dies very quickly.
Yeah, like
which like it's not, but it's not. It's like not even a sacrifice when he's like, they're on the fully water planet and Brand is stuck, and the one robot comes to save her, and she gets in, the robot gets in, and then he gets blown away by the wave. And I'm like, you kind of don't get anything from his death.
I mean, you can get that the mission's important, but like,
yeah,
at the end of the day, what's the mission? Because I feel like each and every astronaut that's on this journey, like originally probably the first astronauts were given different orders, and these astronauts were probably all given separate different orders. Which I mean, is a really good idea, as you don't know what everyone's true intentions are, what they're going to be doing.
Yeah. I do have a few gripes with this movie, and it's like what the first like journey of astronauts was there was Miller's planet, which was the water one. There was Mann's planet, which was the ice one, and then there was Edmonds, which were kind of teased at the end.
Edmonds is the actual livable planet.
So that's the one that Brand is on at the end, but that's not the one they're living on at the end.
Yeah, they just have like a space station, I think.
Yeah,
or something like that.
But Miller's is like completely covered in water, and it's like, oh, based on the time differential of this planet, she's probably only been here for a few minutes. That's why her wreckage is still here. But why did the data she collected, like, you landed on a planet full of water, it's probably not livable. Why didn't you just leave right away?
Yeah.
Same with Mann's planet. You like, he's sending out the signal. You landed there. It's completely ice. I get he's saying there's a scent, like the core of the planet is livable. Do it for a little bit, but like, if you're gonna send out a group of astronauts, make sure they're like ethical at least, because that's Edmund's whole mini 15-minute arc, is that he's like, come to this planet to save me. I'm going to abandon you on this planet now while I go take your ship and bring it back to Earth.
Yeah.
So...
And I mean, what is it? You get... I believe this movie starts in 2063, so they have around to, like, 2100 to actually save the world? Because they're all in their 40s by the end.
Matthew McConaughey is probably around 50s. And
I'm talking about his kids.
His kids, yeah.
His kids are probably late 30s because they have like 2 kids already.
With like the middle of the movie? Yeah. And
so like I don't know what the timeline was. I wish they would have gave like, oh, by 2021 or by 2100 we're probably gone.
Yeah. But Matthew McConaughey is probably around 100, like he's probably around 50 something. And then it says, "Oh, you're 124 years old." At the end of the movie, it's like when he's in the hospital. So it'd probably be an extra 70 years.
Yeah,
which I guess kind of makes sense. So it would probably be, around what you said, 2100. But then Murr's like, there's no way Murr's 80 years old.
Yeah,
because she was 10 at the beginning.
Unless she kept on going in cryosleep.
But... Yeah, and she went for it, and then. Michael Caine's character, actual Dr. Brand, lived to what? 100, 130?
200 almost.
He's living in the centrifuge. Yeah. That's the hack, I guess.
Man dies before, what's his name's? What was Matthew McConaughey's name in the movie?
Cooper.
Before Cooper's dad died, and they were basically the same age. Michael Caine looks kind of worse. I would say.
They give him like more accentuated cheekbones, and that's it. And they put him in a wheelchair.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if he's living in the centrifuge. Maybe he's not aging as much. But
the gravity of those bones is changing.
Yeah, the gravity about those bones. Oh, no bones, you be dead. I don't like. There's some little nitpicky things with this movie, but I think overall it's a pretty good...
You don't really pick it up unless you're talking about it like we are right now. But watching it, it's heavy.
Oh, yeah. Every line, there's just like... Whenever a character wants to piss somebody off, they can just say it.
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you look it up halfway through the movie, you're like, who wrote this script? And it was Christopher Nolan and his brother.
Yeah.
And that, honestly, that's right, because I knew he directed it. And I love Christopher Nolan movies. We'll probably watch a few more.
Yeah.
But, like, for him to write the script, I didn't know he would, like, was that deep into this film. But the lines in this movie hit so heavy.
Oh my god.
I can't pick any one of them out right now. But, like...
There's a lot of, like, off-the-collar, like, insults.
Yeah.
That just, like, puts a character in their place.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's...
But that feels so...
Like, it feels like what a person would say.
Exactly. It feels so human. Like, it doesn't feel like a script. It feels like what someone would actually say if they were, like, insulted. Like, that's the comeback you're going to come back with.
And then when he brings up, that Brand's, like, the person she loves is on one planet while, like, Dr. Mann is on the other one.
Yeah.
like that choice where you have to be like, oh, am I making the wrong one?
Because she has to decide between going to Edmund's planet, which is the man which they don't really set it up that much. I wish they set it up a bit more. They got the time. It's almost 3 hours to set up the relationship between Brand and Edmund. And then Cooper says, are you making that decision just because you're in love with him, or should we go to Man's planet? And they end up going to Man's.
Yeah. And
Cooper ends up at Edmund's in the end. But then once Cooper is in the black hole, like going through the fifth dimension, he's like, nah, she was right. My love with my daughter is what's saving the world right now. It's like, well, you could have just could have gotten there.
I mean, and at that point, they weren't completely sure if they could save, like, the world at that point.
Yeah.
And at the end, like, it's kind of like...
Well, because Michael Caine says to Murph, who says to both... They're like, hey, it's been a scam the whole time. Yeah. Like, you guys are kind of... Like, you left us. You fucked us. But...
Yeah, and I mean... What is it? My original point was... just like a few seconds ago, was that when they go to Man's planet instead of hers, or like her lover's Edmund's planet, basically it was the whole, like, I mean, if you're gonna die, would you rather die on this random person's planet or die on somebody that you know that you could have a chance to, like, see your love before you die or something?
Yeah.
Because they say that, like, the time between you landing there and the time that... It could vary. You might as well land before them, possibly, or land right after them.
Yeah.
Or land right at the same time, which would be crazy.
I mean, because this whole movie is about relativity of, like, time. Is like, before Cooper leaves, he tells his daughter, oh, by the time I come back, we could be at the same age. And that's the whole scene where he's, like, sobbing to the camera because, like, his daughter's sending a birthday message. Hey, I'm the same age as you. Where are you?
Yeah.
But then you're like, shit, he's not back. He's not even close to back yet. And so it's such an emotional scene. But, like, then you start to get the realization of what love is in this movie. And you get why Brand is, like, going towards Edmund and why Cooper wants to go back home. And then at the very end, once Murph and Cooper reunite, she's like, go after Brand again. She's like, go find her because she's out there in a different galaxy. You can go get her back.
Yeah. And I mean, like, that's just like the human spirit. Just keep on going through it. Keep on fighting through it and find a solution to something.
Yeah.
Also, just like I don't know how much of it is practical, how much is CGI, but Christopher Nolan, man, like, it's so good. It's
I don't know how far we were into the movie, but they're about to go through the wormhole, and I turn to John, I go, you know, this isn't CGI, right? And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah, it's all shot on location. It's like, damn, I thought it was miniatures.
I thought you were about to say that it was miniatures, and I would have believed you. Because just, like, I know, like, the only Chris Nolan I know is really the Dark Knight trilogy.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm trying to think of other movies that he made, but...
Every other movie he's made is, like, a solo movie. Dark Knight trilogy is the only thing he said he would make, like, a series for.
Yeah, and then, like... I'm like, oh, he did, like, on-site location there, so would he make, like, practical effects here? He did his Inception, didn't he?
He did practical effects for Inception?
In Inception, yeah.
That's insane.
I know, because, like, I know some, like, random film facts, but, like, when they're spinning in the hallway, like, going up and down,
yeah,
that's all practical.
Wow.
They're in, like, a built hallway that's built like a Ferris wheel. And, like, they're spinning around in there.
He's insane to me. Christopher Nolan, I've seen so many of his movies. I've seen Tenet, Inception. I've seen Memento. And like I've been telling like John throughout this whole movie, I'm like, we gotta watch these movies because they're so good. He might be my favorite director, and I don't know what it is about his movies. I don't know if it's the genre or if it's like the way he directs. Because I'm not like super into like movie direction, but there's something about them that like it grabs my attention so much that I can't like turn away or stop thinking about what he's made.
And I think that's like goes into, I think he screenplays a lot of his newer movies at least. But I think it's a lot of care, like he wants to know, and then just a lot of like care goes into actually making the movie.
Yeah.
And so since it's his own idea, he wants to like nourish it and not just like, oh, a producer told me to change this, and that.
Yeah.
And he automatically has to do it because he's a new director.
Like when he has like a direction of the movie, he almost has full control of it. I think people trust that at this point because his movies are so successful.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think like him as a director and as a screenwriter, and I think him and Tarantino do a good job at that. Because like Tarantino has complete control of what happens in a script.
Yeah.
Like he gets mad if people ad-lib and stuff. Like it's just crazy how much like goes into actually writing a script and like how much work it actually goes into like researching all that. And I don't know how much of it actually is based on real physics and real theory. I think a lot of it is based on real theory of space and time.
I think it's really funny to me because right now I'm taking a class called Theater Survey, and a few of the questions of mine are like about script and stuff, and some of them are like, oh, script is just like suggestion, it's just whatever. And for you to say like Christopher Nolan is so strict about his script, like actors should be able to ad-lib because they're the ones like going through the experience. If you're a director, I know you have the vision of what the movie is going to be, but it's just a vision.
Yeah.
If you're the actor, you're almost like living through it. If you're that deep in character, you should be able to say what the character would say if you're that deep.
Yeah. I mean, if you method act, go for it. But if you're just like somebody who's like good at acting, but you're not really living through it every single... Like, Heath Ledger, I think Christopher Nolan gave him a lot.
And he did, and like, to some extent, a little bit too much method acting, because I think it kind of... I put him to the point where...
I've seen people say that it wasn't like he couldn't get out of character.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he made like a fucking journal with like dead animals and stuff like that. And that movie, like, what a star Heath Ledger would have been in today's world.
I mean, recently, I guess not recently, about a year ago, I watched 10 Things I Hate About You. And I'm seeing Heath Ledger for the first time as not the Joker, and my mind is blown because I'm like, how did this guy turn into like a psychopath? Like, how did he act as that kind of character when he's this high school romantic? It didn't make sense to me.
People hated that it was casted as him.
But he was so good.
Yes. People were just like, no way he can play the Joker. He plays all these teenage heartthrobs.
Yeah.
And once it came out, it's like, oh, no question.
You can't even tell it's him.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I think the first time I ever seen Heath Ledger was as the Joker.
It was for me too. And the second time was 10 Things I Hate About You, and it's so complete. Like, he's not the same at all. You're like, how did he get cast? How did they see that in him and be like, you can play my main villain?
I wonder if there's like an audition tape.
There has to be.
Because, like, what is it? Cillian Murphy was the Scarecrow before that movie. So I wonder the turnaround rate from Batman Begins to The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
And, like, how fast they had, like, did the first movie release. And he was like, oh, I kind of know what they're going for here. Mm-hmm. Or if he just came up with that.
He full well could have. But you get actors like him, and then you get actors like, like Austin Butcher, who like gets so into the role of Elvis.
Oh, Austin Butler.
Butler.
Yeah.
That you can't even get rid of the accent.
Yeah. He still has the accent. And
That's insane. He's a dude.
But oh my god, Austin Butler. He's in a new movie coming out where he's like a biker.
Yeah.
And I think it's about the Hell's Angels or one of the biker gangs. I have no idea what's it about, but he did like somebody interviewed him on one of like the red carpets or something, a premiere, and they're like, "Which one of your characters would win in a fight?" And it was like Elvis, this biker character, or Fade Rotha, and I'm like, is this guy an idiot?
It's Fade Rotha.
Yeah, Fade Rotha. And he goes, yeah, Fade Rotha would probably win the fight. And it was like, yeah, but this biker character would probably start the fight. And then Elvis would, like, I don't know, sit in the corner and die. But
he's sitting on the toilet constipated.
Yeah, it's like...
But again, we're like 10 minutes into this movie, and John, like, so the whole beginning plot of Interstellar is like, oh, the Earth's getting covered in dust. And John goes to me, is this the, like, prequel to Dune?
Yeah.
Because the sun's Timothy Chalamet, and the Earth's getting covered in sand. It's like...
Timothy Chalamet is such a jump scare, which, if you watch our future videos, because I have a feeling that this will be released before Dream Scenario already, and Scooby-Doo, who knows when those will be released.
The sacred episodes.
We're just spoiling stuff, but basically, where was it? We have jump scares, like Eddie Brock showing up in this movie. Jump scare.
Complete surprise. I haven't watched this movie in years, and so I knew Timothy Chalamet was in it because we've talked about it recently. But then Eddie Brock...
I just missed my mouth. Holy shit.
But then Eddie Brock from the original Spider-Man trilogy shows up. We're like, holy shit, that's Venom.
I think his name is Topher Grace. If that's his real name, what a pull.
That's a crazy pull if you got that.
That's a That 70s Show reference.
Is he in That 70s Show?
No.
That's crazy.
He plays one of the characters, like one of the main people in that show.
So you get why are you hiring some guy from That 70s Show to play Spider-Man's main villain? What are you doing?
Again, the comic fans did not like that casting. I mean, what is it?
He did pretty good.
Yeah, but like...
He goes to church to pray for Peter Parker to die.
Do you know all the politics behind Venom being included in the movie?
I have no idea.
Sony, the execs at Sony, wanted Sam Raimi to include Venom in the movie so badly that Sam Raimi was like, I have no idea who Venom is. Sam Raimi did not have an idea of who Venom was.
Like, as a character?
As a character at all. The original villain of Spider-Man 3 was Sandman. And it was only supposed to be Sandman.
Which, Sandman is a good villain, but he's a good side... Because Sandman is a great half villain.
Yes. So, half villains were supposed to be Sandman and the Green Goblin Jr.
And that's, like, I honestly think that's why Spider-Man 3 is a good movie, is because you have three villains. You have Sandman, who's half a villain. You have Green Goblin Jr., who is Spider-Man's friend, and is, like, torn between Peter Parker is my best friend and Spider-Man is my worst enemy. And then you have Venom, who just detached from Spider-Man to become his own villain. That's why it works.
Yeah. Spider-Man 3, they do give us, like, glimpses. Like, Sam Raimi does give us things where his background in horror give, like, very good background to what Venom could have been. Mm-hmm. If, like, he was given a movie to focus on Venom and be like, hey, here's Venom.
I think Spider-Man 3 is very overshadowed by Spider-Man 2.
Yes, Spider-Man 2 is one of the best, like, movies of a comic book by far.
And, like, I think it's because of Doc Ock.
Yes.
But Spider-Man 3 is so good. Yeah. The whole trilogy is really good.
Did you notice how when in Spider-Man No Way Home that like when he leaves, like Doc Ock is the exact thing that he was like about to kill Peter, right?
Yeah.
And when he comes back, basically the lights on the tentacles change.
On his tentacles?
Yeah. And so basically they're like, oh, when he leaves, he, like, before he, like, transfers out of his body, he goes to No Way Home. And then when he comes back, he's fixed. And so he lets go.
Huh.
And then saves the planet.
Dang.
And so I wish we got more, like, we got a Spider-Man 4, we got an Amazing Spider-Man 3.
Yeah. Just
to finish their stories, but I think Marvel...
I do think we're getting an Amazing Spider-Man 3 at some point. With,
yes.
With Tom Hardy's Venom.
Yeah, eventually, probably.
Yeah.
I think what's going to end up happening, because I wish they killed Toby off in No Way Home.
I might have to disagree with that.
You're going to disagree?
I am going to disagree with that. Because, like, I don't think you get anything from his character's death, because it is Tom Holland's Spider-Man, like, his Spider-Man 3. It's his trilogy. And I think by killing Tobey Maguire, you're kind of taking away from Tom Holland and giving it to Tobey Maguire. Like, you're almost giving him the spotlight where he already had his trilogy. He had his story arc where he says he ends up with MJ.
Yeah.
I think by killing him, you're kind of undoing his arc again, and you're kind of taking away from Tom as well. Which I think they still have the chance to build on Tom Holland's trilogy with Fantastic Four. I don't know where they're going to go with the new Fantastic Four movies. I
think he'll show up in Fantastic Four 2, but I think they're doing Fantastic Four 1 in the past.
They are doing Fantastic Four in the past, which I completely agree with.
Yeah.
I think they should do more movies in the past, like X-Men.
Yeah, and just have them in hiding.
Yes.
And they were like, oh.
I mean, that's the whole point with the mutants, is that they don't want to be seen.
Yeah.
Take them out. Because I think, what I've heard is that they're going to remove the Holocaust from Magneto's
I told
past.
you about this.
Yes, you told me, and Pat told me about this too.
And I mean, it is long enough to be like, oh, how is that character still alive?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, that is a vital thing to Magneto's backstory.
It's the most important part of Magneto's backstory.
Yes, and, like, when, what's his name from the original?
Ian McKellen?
Ian McKellen.
Yeah.
Says, hey, I'm not about getting these tattoos on me.
Mm-hmm.
I already had it, and a needle will never touch my skin again.
Yeah. And
shows his freaking scar, like his...
The Holocaust tattoo. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's, like, it shows you where this character is coming from, being a, like a disparaging, like, minority almost,
mm-hmm.
and being like, hey, this stuff that you're doing, not right, marking your own people. But
it's like, it gives you a point to be like, is Magneto that bad? Like, it gives you some humanity into the villain, whereas so many other villains are just like, oh, he's the bad guy. I'm going to trust he's the bad guy. Whereas, like, Magneto, you like, I feel for him.
Yeah, and I feel like Magneto is one of the main characters where you can feel that way about somebody, mm-hmm. where it's like, oh, are they really the most terrible thing happening now?
And you get story arcs like that between, like, Magneto and like Zuko from Avatar.
Yeah.
Where you start to feel for the villain. And honestly, I've been watching The Boys recently. Honestly, Homelander. I don't want to speak against Homelander. Homelander, like, sucks as a person. But he's like, oh, I was raised as a test tube and, like, raised between these, like, corporate greedy people to be the perfect person.
Yeah.
I have no humanity as a person because of the way I was raised. Why should I be a good person? And you see that through his character through the show. I'm only in season 3. I have not caught up.
Yeah, I know you're in season 3, and season 5 is crazy right
mm-hmm.
now. And you'll see that in Is it season 4?
It's season 4 that just came out.
Yeah, you'll see in season 4 that, like, I'm not going to get into spoilers because you haven't watched it personally. But his backstory is way more...
Is it even more fucked than they've shown before?
It's kind of fucked, but it's like more test tube baby. He was, like, put away in a room. He was tested upon.
Yeah.
But it's almost like, oh, if all these things are happening to him, of course he's going to turn out evil.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole plot they have going on with his son Ryan. That's like, I can't raise him the same way that Homelander was raised, or else he's going to turn out the same. And that's the whole plot point they have going on right now where I'm at. But between that and Magneto, it's like, you get where Magneto's coming from. You can't be fully against Magneto, and that's where the conflict comes from. Yeah. And that's why it's such a good movie. Movies come from good conflict. If you're completely one-sided, it's almost boring to watch.
Like, I understand having a morally gray villain.
Yeah.
And it's more overdone today than it was back then when those characters were created. I do like when a villain is truly just evil, and then you have 2 hours to just basically hate this person. And like, you do get that, especially like with the original like Disney movies, like Judge Frollo, other characters like that. But you, like, now we're almost oversaturated with morally gray villains that Magneto's is starting to like drift behind, and it's starting to get forgotten, and the execs will be like, oh, if he doesn't need to be morally gray, we'll just change his backstory and make him just a horrible person.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, even though he's much deeper than
he needs to be one of the morally gray.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I know that one of the recent Disney movies that come out is Wish, which you've seen. I haven't.
Yeah.
But he is a morally gray character.
Yeah.
And did they need to make him morally gray?
He's good. Like, he's basically in the movie, they're like, oh, people shouldn't wish for everything that they can wish because, hey, oh, you want power? Does that mean killing me in the future? Like, it's stuff like that it's like, oh, this villain wasn't bad at all. He's just like... And I stopped watching that movie because I'm like, oh, this just doesn't make sense, and it hurts my eyes. Because, like, the animation style is just, like, giving me seizures. But, basically, I understand the reason for morally gray, but you shouldn't oversaturate it, because then everyone's just gray. Like, and I mean, that's the whole, like, have you watched Dune yet? Yeah, you watched
I've watched Dune, yeah.
So there's a reason, like, J.R. Tolkien, the creator of Lord of the Rings, hated the Frank Herbert, the creator,
Dune writer.
Yeah, the Dune writer, so much, and it's because of their differing opinions on good and evil. So J.R. Tolkien was everyone's good or evil. There really isn't a gray scale unless somebody's betraying somebody, or somebody's, like, basically betrayal is happening in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
So Dune, on the other hand, is everything is fucking gray. Everything is, oh, I'm not really good, or I'm good to this certain extent, or I'm the best thing that's evil to happen.
I feel like those are two extremes, though. You can't make everything black or white, or everything gray. You have to have everything. Which, like, I wouldn't even say that about Lord of the Rings, because I would say Gollum / Smeagol is gray.
So that's the whole, like, you have independent characters that are like, oh, this is my one task. So that's the whole D&D, evil and good.
Yeah.
Evil, you're more selfish. Good, you're more, like, selfless.
Yeah.
And Gollum, in this case, is more selfish. He wants the ring. He wants his precious.
But he's still going back and forth between helping Frodo and Sam. Like Smeagol, I would say, I wouldn't say he's good. I'd say he's at least neutral.
Yeah.
But, like, Gollum 100% is selfish towards the ring. But you get that, like, at least one scene where he's flipping between his two selves.
Yeah.
where you're getting like, what is he gonna do? And he eventually, I think he goes on his evil self.
And I think that's a good plot device to be like, ultimately, evil will consume. If you're unsure, evil will get you. Mm-hmm. Because ultimately, as people ourselves, we're looking...
towards ourselves.
Yeah, we are sounding like pompous fucking film critics right now.
But what can I say? Like, I'm not a psychologist, I'm a movie critic, but to some extent, we've played enough D&D.
Yeah. We know what... Like, especially now in our campaign.
Especially now. Your self-ambitions get a lot more to you than your group ambitions.
Yes, because, like, ultimately... everyone is looking after themselves. Everyone's ultimately like the whole would you stop a bear or like stop a lion from eating your family? Who knows?
The lion's hungry.
Once that I was about to say sandwich. Once that situation happens, who knows? It's like the whole I would have stopped the robber. Would you?
Yeah.
Would you, or would you just sit in the aisle?
You don't know until you're there.
Yeah.
And
anybody who claims to know what they will do in that situation is a liar.
Yeah.
Like, God, we're getting real into
I hate to get to this position, but I was cut off the other day from some car. I guess I kind of somehow cut off some car. I really wasn't. You were in the car with me. I was pulling out of a friend's place, and a car was speeding along the road, come behind me, and here comes a merge lane. They swerve out to the merge lane, swerve back in front of me,
the black Tesla,
and stop at a red light. They have no license plate. Run the red light. I don't care. You can't get caught if you don't have the license plate, idiot.
Yeah,
just go through it. But they cut me back off to prevent me from turning. Like, is this an evil act? Is this I don't know.
Were they drunk at the time? Like, it was very late.
It was very late, and they cut me off to turn. They were going straight. They could have stayed in the other lane, but they prevented me from turning just 'cause.
Yeah, and I'm trying to see, like, it's the whole morality of good versus evil, and that's... I did take a little bit of psychology class, but there's the whole the slave / ruler mentality, mm-hmm. where it's like, I'm good, therefore you're evil. And it's like, there's another version of it where it's the other mentality, where it's, I'm good, or I'm not evil, so I know you're evil. I think I'm messing it up, but
yeah, but like,
because
believe
of
the way
it, oh my god, that pile of beer.
It's a lot of beer.
Yeah, and mine's behind me, and I don't know exactly, but I know the saying for it. I know
it's like, because of the way I think and you think differently, therefore we're against each other.
Yes, that's exactly the mindset. Yeah. And I mean, we're talking about what number were we at?
Don't worry about it.
We were at like talking about like the mentality of man and like basically the thought process. But basically, if you don't have that like good in the world, like you kind of need that evil to kind of come in and like equal it out almost.
I mean, that's the whole way like characters work, like in real life and in movies and in any story, is if you don't have something opposing you, you have nothing to drive you forward. If everything is good and you're a good character, you have nothing to go against. So you have no story to push into, you have nothing to like build yourself up. Whereas if you're a good character in a fully evil world, you're against everyone, and you can become so much better. You can transition people. You can push people to your side. You can like gain an alliance that will help you fight the rest of the evil. But there's never going to be a complete one-sided thing, and that's the way it is with like even like Star Wars, light side, dark side. there has to be a balance, and that's the whole point of Star Wars is dark side, light side balance. Whereas like there's stories whereas the good side wins, whereas the good side doesn't win. There's always going to be someone that comes up on the other side. It's like, why did we win? Why did we push up on this side? And then they become the dark side, and then they push back, and there's always going to be a balance.
Yeah, like there's the whole, like when you're playing D&D, if my character's backstory isn't absolutely like emotionally engaging and like bad stuff happened to him, there's no reason to explore. There's no reason to adventure out. There's no reason to make a better name for yourself. And also, like coming back to the movie, when Cooper is like in the black hole and he's like trying to get to her, he's like telling her not to do it, like
to stay.
Yeah, that's his like inner humanity being like, oh, I want to make this selfish decision. I don't care if it affects the world at all. Even though he ultimately makes the choice, hey, I have the chance to make a difference.
And I think that's what's so interesting about this movie is that's the very first action he does when he's in the black hole is he tells Murph to stay. But you know there's so much more to Murph's ghost because you see it in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah. Even
though right after he tells her to stay, he starts communicating with the robot TARS to get out of the Tesseract. But like you know he has to go back and most likely tell her the other Morse code stuff. And it's probably even him that opens the wormhole at Saturn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the whole Murphy's Law, if it will happen, it's going to happen. That comes into play so much throughout.
And it's so because you get Timothy Chalamet's character very early in the beginning saying, Murphy's Law, if it's like whatever like bad will happen. Yeah. And then Matthew McConaughey corrects it, whatever will happen. And you get that change at the beginning at the very end where he is the one that is happening.
Yeah, and it's that whole idea of almost predestiny. What's going to happen to this character? And obviously this is a movie, so a script has already been written. So this character has to live throughout this entire movie, and it's going to happen. There's nothing that you can do to change it. It's that Star Wars TikTok that's like, the story has already been written.
Yeah.
It happened a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away that nothing you can do can change it.
Yeah.
And that's almost what's beautiful about this film is that, as far as we know, there will be no Interstellar sequel. There will be nothing to come from this.
And honestly, like I know we keep going back to Dungeons and Dragons, but because you have like a movie script, I have maybe 3 hours to tell a story. I have to make it come full circle. Where with D&D, you're like, I can make this story go as long as I need it to, whether it's months or years. Your story may come to an unsatisfying end, and that could be how it is.
Yeah.
And that's how it is in real life too. Like you get to this point where it's like, I didn't achieve what I needed to, but it's over, and maybe I wasted my time. Maybe I made wrong decisions. But that's how real life is, and movies don't get to that point. Movies always kind of close themselves out, where you're like, when you're watching it, it's satisfying. But when you're like trying to live it, you're never going to get to that point. And I think that's why it is so beautiful, because you like your decision matters more than you think it does.
Yeah, like I used to get so depressed. I love TV shows. I love going like now binging has took away watching years of a TV show, seeing the development over time. When you could just finish it all in like less than a month or less than a week even. And like you grow up with these characters almost like Avatar: The Last Airbender. We grew up watching that every single week, and now like basically it's like, would you like to see these characters like still go through stuff, still experience the fallout of like their actions that ended the show? Of course I would. I would love to see what Aang the Avatar did after the whole defeating of the Fire Lord. But also at the end, wouldn't you like to see them happy? Wouldn't you like to see them complete? And that's like my whole D&D mindset. I know we talk about D&D a lot so far in the first episode we did, because it was a very D&D-esque episode.
It was very D&D.
But like, you have these goals set, and whether it's in your D&D world or your D&D life, like, you have these preliminary goals that you want to set for yourself, and you want to see them through. But at the end of the day, you might end up like his daughter, knowing that, hey, maybe I completed these goals, maybe I didn't. I never got to see my dad until I'm on my deathbed.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, would you like to see a happy world at the end, where you completed some of your goals but not all of them? Or would you rather not have achieved anything and just been another minuscule step in the universe? And basically anyway, let's get into some of these questions.
I
actually have a record so far of questions.
How many?
5.
Oh shit, okay.
And they get progressively more to talk about.
Good news for you, John. We also have 2 more beers.
We have 2 more. Oh, I'm barely finished with this one.
Me too.
Number 1. In this movie, they only eat corn. Hence the popcorn at the baseball game. That's why the dad, or the granddad at this point, the guy from basically Planet of the Apes, he's in How I Met Your Mother. That's how I know him. I think he's in a Disney TV show as well. Don't remember exactly which one. But he's like, oh, I could really go for a hot dog at this game. But they only eat corn, because that's all they can eat, basically, because of the famine. What food would you want to eat for the rest of your life?
I feel like this is one of the most popular questions of one of the most popular, and I have answered before, and I think it's oranges.
Oranges.
It's oranges, because you get an orange slice, but you also get orange juice. And it's that duality. It's like, I can get a bit of different food and a bit of different drink, because you still get water, right? In this scenario, do you still get water? You get water, so that means you get water and orange juice, and you can eat oranges. I think orange juice is different enough from eating an orange to where you can differentiate. I don't like, if you're eating corn all the time, I think I'm dead. Because, like, you eat corn, then you shit corn. Like, the corn doesn't digest that well.
It doesn't go away.
So I don't know how this future is working, where they're digesting this corn. If they're just eating corn, I don't know what they're getting from it.
I don't know what they're getting from it either, because I don't know if animals are extinct on this planet. I haven't seen an animal.
I mean, we don't see it the whole movie, but it's also like, I don't want to say, like, it's not the point. They live on a farm.
Yeah.
Like, there's probably still, like, rabbits or whatever. They have to have some sort of protein, but they're not growing, like, soybeans. So yeah. I don't know.
I mean, I think there's talks about potatoes.
Yeah, but potatoes aren't protein either.
Yeah, but it's still something different than corn.
They say it at one point about, like, the Irish lost the potatoes to the famine. We're about to lose corn to a famine.
Oh, that's probably the thing.
I think that's when they bring up potatoes.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the deal with animals is.
I think for me, I would choose something along the lines of, like, chicken wings. Like, if I could just eat chicken wings for the rest of my life.
But do they have different flavors, or is they flavorless?
Yo, if sauces are around...
If sauces are around, then I think you're cooking.
I'm literally cooking. Like,
literally.
All I need is mild, and I'll be fine. But if we have more than one sauce, game over. I'm living forever. I'm pulling a Dr. Brand for this movie.
Living on the centrifuge.
Living on the centrifuge.
Centrifuge and chicken wings, infinite lifespan.
Oh my god, that would be great. I would be living the life. That's like almost as good as Animal Kingdom Tiger.
Tell him about Animal Kingdom Tiger, John. Tell him about Animal Kingdom Tiger.
So if I ever die, I told Ryan this, and it was after we did his last day of his annual Disney pass in Animal Kingdom, and we were doing the trail, and there's tigers on this trail, and I'm like, yo, the life would be if I were to die to come back as a baby tiger in Animal Kingdom, because you don't have to worry about any poachers, you don't have to worry about hunting your own food. They just give it to you.
They live in the Taj Mahal of tigers.
Yeah, the Taj Mahal. Like,
they get their own pool. They get this whole yard.
I can pose for Instagram.
Yeah,
I would gladly pose for Instagram.
But it's only if you keep your mentality of John as a tiger.
Yeah, like
if your tiger mentality.
If I get to keep my like human mentality, definitely, no doubt. If I get to keep my tiger mentality, I would just think, oh, this is normal. Like, oh, I'm just trapped in this cage.
I guess you have no realization if you're born as a baby tiger in Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, and like the adult tigers would be like, hey, this isn't how things are supposed to be, and I'm like, well, things are good, so I don't know what they're supposed to be. But I don't know. That would be my conversation with the other tigers in Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
As far as like, because we originally went from being a rhinoceros in Animal Kingdom, and then I'm like, yo, let's get some like T-bone steaks up there. Like tiger. Oh my god, I can chow down on. Don't fucking say me and stare me down, right?
Sorry.
So that's my tiger spiel. So number two, we get aliens in a way in this movie that they're just ourselves. What do you think the most possible case of aliens is?
It's got to be bacteria.
Yeah.
It's got to be some sort of bacteria. Like, I'm pretty sure that there's some sort of bacteria in the water on Mars. There's no way that the first alien we, intersect with is something of actual intelligible life force.
Yeah.
It's got to be some sort of plant or something small that actually has no effect unless it, comes in contact with our immune system. So I don't think it's going to be anything extravagant like the way Hollywood has made it. It's got to be something small. But, even something small has something impactful.
Yeah.
So
I think there's some theories that are pretty fun, like the whole "it's us from the future" telling us to basically calm it down, slow the nuclear bombs and stuff. Interstellar moment to bring it back to the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, there's theories that if you were to go along in human evolution, that we would look a lot like the gray aliens that are present throughout our media. And it's really fun to think about that sometimes, and it's kind of depressing also. But I don't know, the proof of aliens would change a lot in the way we view the world. It would change a lot in just life in general.
I just think, based on where we are in space travel now, we're not getting farther than our solar system. And I think we already have confirmed that there's no other life in our solar system besides what maybe bacteria we could find. But we're not going to find some big-eyed green or gray alien unless we go to another, full planet across the galaxy.
Yeah, I think Kepler system is one of the things that could present future life, and there's another system that's there's one side that is only shown to their sun, and there's only one side that's shown to their dark side, and so there's only this one little strait across the entire planet that's inhabitable.
You do bring up Kepler. I'm going to take this chance to shout out King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard Kepler 22b. Great song. Listen to their full album. Fantastic. Anyways.
But I think Kepler is based on that. Basically, I think there's names, like, I don't know if it's the creator that they named it off, or the founder of that system that they named it off of, but I think it may probably be a god, like how Apollo and like
that's what
Saturn,
like Jupiter. We get a whole solar system based off gods. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's really fun to think about space travel, especially with the new boom of SpaceX and Blue Origin, and all those things. So I'll. Oh my god! I'll create a little intermission between the questions here, and it's time for the usual segment: 3 fun facts and a lie, or 2 fun facts and a lie. We got some good ones here. So I'll go in a nice little order. Number 1. And for anybody new listening to this podcast, this is where I tell Ryan a matter of 3 fun facts. 2 of them I found on IMDb. 1 of them I made up in my mind. Ryan, so far, spoilers alert, is 0-2.
0-2 as of Dream Scenario.
And the first episode.
That has been released.
So, number 1. Oh my god, this is hard to read. There's 2 screens right now. The method of space travel in this movie was based on physicist Dr. Kip Thorne's works, which are also the basis for the method of space travel in Carl Sagan's novel Contact. That's number 1. Number 2. According to Dr. Kip Thorne...
Again?
It'd be crazy if I had created this guy. All 3 of them are fake. That would be a fun little scheme.
That'd be a crazy scheme you pulled.
The largest degree of creative license in this movie are the clouds and the ice planet, which are structures that are probably beyond the material strength which ice would be able to support. So that's basically saying, like, oh, the outer shell of ice clouds wouldn't, like, exist. Basically.
Okay.
It doesn't make sense.
Okay.
Number 3. The ghost scenes of supposedly alien phenomena that occur in... So, okay. The ghost scenes that appear in the movie are based off supposed alien phenomena that occur in UFO hotspots / sightings, which are added after the first draft of the scripts was written by the... Oh my god.
You want to read that whole thing again?
Yeah. So the ghost scenes are based off supposed alien phenomena that occur in UFO hotspots / sightings, which were added to the movie after the producers wanted more of a mystery / thriller aspect to the film.
Okay, so I know you got me in the past with the entire long fact about Howard the Duck. I don't think it's the ice clouds one. I think that's true.
Yeah.
The first one was about... What was the first one?
Space travel.
Space travel.
It was basically like the method of space travel is based on the physicist's ideas works.
Okay, I think the third one is false about aliens.
Okay.
That's my final answer.
We are 1-2 against Ryan Berry.
Yes!
Ryan finally guessed the right one that I made up. Oh my god. My English on this is so bad. I was like, while I was writing it, I was about 4 in.
I found your pattern of being a long fact.
So, like, all these are about the same length. Like,
Really?
If you look at them.
Do you declare which one is false in those texts, or do you just like remember which one's false?
I know which one I created.
Okay.
Because I created it.
Right? Yeah, I mean, yeah, but like if I were to read them,
like if you were to see like dream scenarios, I usually know which one I created, just based off of like which one I write down. Yeah. But for this one, I actually indented it because I knew that we were going to be drinking more than the allotted amount of...
This is a 3-hour movie, so we have like a bit more than we usually do.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So I'm happy for you. Finally,
I got one. I finally got one.
So now we have 3 more questions.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah, because there were 5 to begin with.
That's true. As of now, of the release episodes, I'm 1-1. I'm 50%.
Yeah, but once we... Oh my god, I might release Dream Scenario. No, that would be kind of fun. but as of now, you are 1-1.
I am 1-1.
So, but you are technically 1-2 right now.
I am 1-2.
So, number 3. What is an acceptable amount of time to miss?
That's a crazy question.
We're getting back to...
I know this is one of your fears. So
also, we should make sure we're still recording because the laptop is
is off. We are still recording.
Okay, sweet.
Oh, this is a crazy question. Acceptable amount of time to miss.
Yes, whether it's interstellar travel or...
So,
you might be out of somebody's life for a lot amount of time.
I'm going to start off with 10 years is too much to miss.
10 years is too much.
Can I go down to 5? 5 years, is that too much? I think 5 years is too much.
Think about 5 years ago. That's 2019.
5? Don't start with that.
Think about 10 years ago.
That's way too much to miss. 5 years is too much.
10 years was 2014 when this movie came out.
Can I go 3 years? 3 years would be 2021. Where would I be 3 years ago? I'd be just going into college.
You would have never known me.
I wouldn't know you.
This podcast would not exist.
It wouldn't exist. 3 years, I think too much. A year.
I think a year...
I think a year is the most you could go without a year ago today. Crazy time.
Yeah.
A year ago today. I think a year is the most you could go. I think in a year you can still change very much as a person.
Yes.
But a year ago, I think you would still recuperate based on what you have learned within that year without missing too much. If that makes sense.
Yes. Like, I don't know. I think the whole people aging around me is weird.
It's because, like, when you first brought up missed time to me, I'm like, oh, yeah, I guess. I don't remember what movie you were talking about. But then once watching this movie, it finally hit for me because of how much time Cooper misses. He misses 70 plus years. And to miss your entire childhood plus grandchild plus a grand-grandchild, you're missing an entirety amount. Like, I know he's saved.
Well, it goes into that whole, also another question that could stem off this one. Would you rather be the last one ever to die or the first, or the only person to live forever?
I'd be the last person to die. You can't live forever.
So
is this your question 4?
So, no, this is not my question 4.
This is just based off of the other question.
Yeah.
You gotta be the last. You have to die at some point. You can't live forever.
So say there was no degenerative properties to living forever.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I would see it.
But you stop aging now.
You stop aging now, and everybody else lives forever, but you die.
You gotta die at some point. You can't live forever. You'll gain too much knowledge. I'll bring up a JoJo reference. I don't care. I'll bring up a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure reference. There's a character that gets turned to stone, shot off into space. And he presumably lives forever, but he loses consciousness at some point because he has gained so much knowledge drifting off into space. You can't live forever. You'll go insane and whatever. You gotta die at some point.
So my entire thing is, if everybody else lives forever, then you will just be forgotten.
Oh, you're saying everyone else lives forever,
everyone
you
else,
die.
Everyone else lives forever, you die, or you're the only person who ever lives forever.
Everyone else lives forever, you die, or you die and everyone else lives forever.
Yes.
I die.
Okay.
I die. Don't put me in that situation alone.
Like, you just 100 years, new family.
Nope.
New family.
Nope. Count me out.
Okay. I love just, asking these questions and just psychologically gaining information on you.
You're learning too much about me.
By the time, our listeners actually listen to this, they'll be first episode, they did Interstellar at one point, and then they'll be like, holy crap, they talk about, life. And
you've learned too much about me, John.
No, I'm gonna have to die, like Pytho. She'll listen to this. Would you rather explore space with the boys, or explore sea? And also, which exploration would you want to explore the most?
You know my answer on this. I am a die-hard pirate. I'm exploring the sea with the boys.
Oh my!
I'm sailing out from Europe and I am finding new land or treasure or anything else. I don't care what it is. I am a die-hard pirate, and I will shoot down other ships. I will bury treasure. I will find treasure. It does not matter to me. I am sailing on that ship.
Okay.
What about you? What are you doing?
I think for me, I do I understand the dangers and the problems that come with cave exploration.
Mm-hmm.
And I have seen The Descent, which is a scary movie on that premise. But exploring caves and going underground, it's just I don't know, kind of cool fun.
To me, that is terrifying. I don't because to me, cave exploration, you could keep going down, and you could keep exploring, and you could be like, damn, this is still going down, and I'm running out of resources. I'm gonna go back up. Or for for space exploration, we've been going out way too far, and I don't think we have anything left. We don't have enough to make it back. I think because we knew it was a round planet, and because we knew we lived on land, if you go out far enough and you have enough resources, you'll eventually make it back to land. I know I'll make it back to civilization. And for me, that's what it is I know I'll make it back. The worst happens is I'll make it back. Worst happens for either of those other two is I'm still going down, and I haven't found anything new yet. I don't have enough to make it back. I'm done for.
But hear me out. You have a cool cave named after you.
You would have a cool cave named after you.
There'll be a video on why you shouldn't explore this cave, and they'll show a fun little.
But imagine a new country named after you.
A new country. Ooh, that's kind of fun.
I know America is named after one of the
America Vespucci.
Yeah, I think that's
as a history.
As a history fiend.
I love knowing random history, but I think it's America Vespucci.
I think you're right. Yeah.
That sounds pretty accurate.
Yeah, I think
it's either that or.
I was trying to think of it, and you said it. I'm like, yeah, no, I think that's it.
But yeah, I think exploring.
I'm a pirate man at heart.
Yeah.
I can't defer.
You can't dwell away from that.
Those mermaids, man.
No, whoa, calm down.
We won't get into that.
Yeah, you're mermaid king. Moving on. Do you think we will make interplanetary or Yeah, I think that's the word. Interplanetary travel in our lifetime.
I think so. I know we're working on Mars right now.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's gonna work. Personally, I also don't think we are in reach of any other planet. So no. I think we are focusing too much. So the whole point of Interstellar is we weren't meant to die on Earth. We have to go to another planet. I think it's the opposite. I think we are meant to save Earth and not meant to try and leave and go to another planet. I don't think Mars is it. I don't think we have enough time to colonize Mars and work on Mars as a planet. I think there is enough time to try and save Earth to make it habitable again.
Yeah, and I mean, whether that's going underground for some time, which I think is a very probable thing in like, especially the 2070s, probably 2080s, when things get evidently too hot. I think we'll stay on this planet. I think we will send out life ships at some point.
Oh, I think we will, yeah. I just don't think it'll work.
I don't think it will work because people will mutiny, people will riot. It's just in our nature, as we said before. We are evidently selfish in every case of the word. So, with that being said, it's time to review the movie. It's time to...
Was that the last question?
That was the last question. That was number 5.
Okay.
So, we are... So, which one do you want to do first? Beer or movie?
Let's do the movie first.
Do the movie first, okay. Do you want to say your number? Because I have a number rambling in my mind.
I got a high number. And I know I did
You
Willow
know you
High.
rank movies.
I know I did Willow High, and that was our first episode that we released. So I know that the movie train has got to be high right now. I don't entirely remember what Willow started with, but I know it started with 4.8. And so I have to do Interstellar High because it is one of the first sci-fi movies that I really got into, that I enjoyed. So but can I put it higher than Willow? I don't know. I think I have to.
I think you're legally authorized. Like, I think I have to legally
I think I have to put it higher, and I know about Willow High. So I think I have to put Interstellar at a 4.86.
4.86.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Says you.
So, I know in my other 2 movies, I don't rank Scooby-Doo as much.
You screwed yourself.
I screwed
is
myself.
all I've said.
I screwed myself with Dream Scenario, especially. I wish I didn't rank that movie what I ranked it. Because I have to go up now.
You gotta keep going up.
I have to keep on going up to the moon. But Grant, I don't think I'm going to hit another movie like Interstellar, at least until we watch something else that's more... Oh, Interstellar as a movie as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
But I have the chance to undersell you.
You could go under me, but you can still go over your other ratings.
I could.
Not by much, though.
And I should.
You go 0.01 higher than the other ones?
Ooh.
John's in a predicament.
Who knew that?
He's cornered himself.
I cornered myself, and I know that our next movie isn't going to be as good as Interstellar.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly, who knows? It could be our Studio Ghibli movie, and then just John's ratings are just artificially inflated. Because I can't legally do that. I can't legally place something below a certain number. Because my general thought process behind the movie, if it entertains me for the allotted 2 to 3 hours that I'm watching,
you put it too high.
I put it too high. Oh my god, this is going on too long. That's why I'm going a 4.84.
4.84. Wow. That's honestly a lot higher than I thought you would. Based on never seeing this movie before.
I'm seeing what I ranked Willow. Okay.
You ranked Willow pretty high. You ranked Willow 4.7 something.
Okay. Our stats are relatively close to Willow. Right?
I think we're getting pretty close to Willow. We're drinking a lot of good beer and we're watching a lot of good movies.
Yes. None of these movies, besides probably Scooby-Doo, have been necessarily
we need to start watching some worse good movies and drinking some worse good beer.
Yes, I think our fault is we love movies too much.
I think we do.
Yeah.
Because
how dare we watch Gremlins 2 and I ranked that one a 5.
Oh shit.
Gremlins 2 is so good.
Gremlins 2 is good.
Gremlins 1 is good too.
But a year from now we'll watch it again.
Yeah. A year from now I will be willing to watch it during Christmas time.
Yeah,
because it's a Christmas movie.
No, that's Gremlins 2 is a 4th of July movie.
No, Gremlins 2 is a New Year's Eve.
Gremlins 1 is a Christmas movie.
Yes.
Yes.
They're both holiday movies.
They are both holiday movies. But on to the beer review.
Ooh. I don't
Orange
think...
Blossom.
I'm a beer guy. I don't think you're going to guess what I rank it.
I think you're going to rank it low.
I am. It's. I'm going to say my number.
Go ahead.
It's 3.37.
3.37?
Because I don't know. I remember liking this beer, and I think that deals with, I don't know, just our thought, like when we used to drink this beer when we.
So I'll go into the history of Orange Blossom, which is what we're drinking.
So it's Orange Blossom Honey Pilsner. That's the exact.
Orange Blossom Honey Pilsner. This is. It might have been a little bit more than a year ago when we first started drinking Orange Blossom, which was. I was at my beach place and we drank Orange Blossom and it was fantastic.
Were we pairing it with anything else?
I think we paired it after.
Was it with a McUltra?
It was
so we were already a couple, because we went from McUltra to Orange Blossom.
We were after a few McUltra into an Orange Blossom, and it was great.
Yeah,
might have been a top 2 beer.
2?
Might have been for me.
What's your 1?
I don't know. I don't even know. But for me, it was top 2. But now, I'm drinking. Or the second we cracked it open, I took a sip. I went, "Dang, this isn't it."
Yeah, that's honestly how I felt too.
My mouth is dry.
Yes,
I'm disappointed. And I don't know what to think. So, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I don't want to lie.
We drank Busch the whole movie and started drinking Orange Blossom the second we started recording this episode.
But, like, honestly, we also had the opinion that Busch wasn't, like, what we rated it either.
I might rate Busch lower than what we did before, which we haven't released our Busch episode.
Yeah, but it still exists.
But it's lower than what I thought. Orange Blossom? What was I putting on this pedestal for?
It was up there.
It was up there.
Like, I don't know. I just don't know what the... It's the same way we thought about Busch Peach. We were like, Busch Peach?
Mm-hmm.
Probably going to be really good.
Mm-hmm.
Really good first Scooby-Doo episode. We'll get to that when we eventually post it.
We'll release it.
It's a nice 30-minute... Like, this one's going to be long.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a nice 30-minute breather eventually when we post it. But I don't know. I think they're clamoring for that number, Ryan.
So what was your number for Orange Blossom?
I can't tell you. You have to make the decision by yourself.
I think I gotta put it below a 3.5. Is all you gotta start with.
Okay.
I think I gotta put it a 3.32.
Okay. So
it's low for me.
Yeah.
And I love citrus beer.
Yeah.
Our other choice for tonight was Blue Moon. And I think Blue Moon's great. And like maybe that's because the recent Blue Moon in me, I've been drinking Blue Moon Draft.
Yeah, Blue Moon Draft is actually good.
And draft beer is great. And I didn't believe you when you said it at first. Draft beer slaps. But there's something about canned beer, and going back to canned citrus beer for Orange Blossom has ranked it so low for me. And I didn't think I'd rank it lower than Bush Peach, because Bush Peach is pretty good. And I love citrus beer more than I love Bush Peach. But Orange Blossom ranks lower for me. And that surprises me.
Yeah. It's crazy how we went. We did go a year from starting to drinking beer.
Yeah.
And we officially came full circle, and we're like, hey, maybe this beer isn't it. Maybe this isn't the peak of the mountain. Maybe we have more beers to try.
We're watching the movie, and I have Orange Blossom and Blue Moon in my fridge. I go, John, which one do you want to drink tonight? And he goes, Orange Blossom. Let's go. I'm pretty sure that one's better than Blue Moon. And we start drinking. I'm like, dang. Is it?
Yeah.
Is it really?
Maybe it's not the pinnacle. Maybe we have more beers to try. Maybe
we have so many more.
Oh,
based on last episode, you've told me there's a lot more beers to try.
When I see the refrigerated section of the beer distributor that we go to, it's really just wall of refrigerated beer, and then you turn left, and it's just wall. Wall of beer.
Yup.
But I feel like this is a good place to finish things off. I feel like
other than that, I think we've covered everything about this movie and the beer.
Yeah, I mean, great movie. We ranked it in the high 4s.
Interstellar, please go watch Interstellar.
Yeah,
you're gonna enjoy it no matter what. Go watch any Christopher Nolan movie. You're gonna enjoy it. You might be confused, but you're gonna enjoy it no matter what.
At the end of the day, maybe think a little. Maybe
watch a little bit.
Watch a movie and think.
You're right.
It's a fun thing to do. Sit in a movie theater and wonder what's coming next.
Mm-hmm.
I love wondering. Mm-hmm. I love it. But
it's part of the experience.
Especially with this podcast, wondering what the next episode we release.
Who knows?
Who knows? We might release there's
a 33% chance.
There's an archive. That's
the whole point.
It's great. We love it. And with that, I think we should end it out.
I think we should.
This has been 3 Beers in a Movie podcast. Thank you for listening.
See you next week.